A State Department spokesperson called out a reporter for playing Pokemon Go during an ISIS-themed press conference. Let's take a look, shall we?
As the Secretary said earlier today, though, and I think it's an important reminder, you're playing the Pokemon thing right there, aren't you?
I'm just keeping an eye on it.
It's an important reminder. We know this won't be easy. We recognize it's a challenge, and we're clear-eyed about the work we still have to do. This is why we convene this important ministerial, and we'll continue to work with our coalition partners to defeat Daesh. Did you get one?
No, the signal's not very good.
Sorry about that.
This is just a very real moment. This is a moment where, like, the people who created the Pokemon Go game are like, yes! And the people who care about, like, the soul of the world are like, oh my God, what do I do? That was John Kirby, a U.S. State Department spokesperson, who called out someone. I mean, that's just a fantastic interaction.
Do you get your credential? I was going to say BRB playing Pokemon.
Yeah, like,
currently, there's a Diglett in the studio as we speak.
Yeah, there's been one since we started the second hour.
I know. I'm gonna just. Oh, good one.
I don't know.
I caught it.
I didn't know.
Not a big deal. Oh my God. But no, seriously, Pokemon Go is absolutely amazing. Even though it's the worst game ever created.
It's not fun.
It's not fun, but it's so addictive. I can't stop playing.
It is so awesome, even though it's the worst game ever created. Explain yourself.
It's
Hasan
such
Piker.
a shit game. It's just not a good, complete game. They released it. I feel like they released it too early without putting in the actual stuff that makes Pokemon so interesting. There's no user interaction with one another. The battle system is awful. You're just button mashing in Poke Gyms. You can't train with other people. You can't train your Pokemon by battling other Pokemon. Mm-hmm. Everything is messed up.
So do you know what it is, Grace?
If you haven't played it.
Pokemon Go, for those who don't know, it just basically turned the entire world into a scavenger hunt for these mythical monsters based on the Pokemon franchise, which is in this fictional world where you go find these monsters and you capture them and you train them and you use them to fight people. But what it is you load the game and the map of your city is there. It knows where you are. And you walk around and it tells you how close these Pokemon might be and you go search them out. And literally 20 million daily active users are using it in 35 countries. And T-Mobile saw such a spike and potential for this game that they gave their users 1 free year of Pokemon data. Some people think it's an invasion of privacy.
Wait, really? I'm on T-Mobile.
That's what it said.
It's not a bad deal.
What are you doing? Get on Pokemon Go.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I have unlimited data, and AT&T consistently likes to remind me of that because I was grandfathered in, and I've been using I think I had 23 gigs. I'd logged on 23 gigs of data. I think 5 days after Pokemon had come out. It was like the beginning of the month. They were like,
I think that this is.
We're going to stop your usage. We're gonna.
Throttle.
But the reason why this story in particular interested me was that it shows how pervasive this game is and how its reach across generations, across people who actually have jobs. I think there's sometimes this thought that if you're playing Pokemon Go during the day, that you're just doing nothing during the day and you're just a bored teenager. Right, you're just walking around
because you
but
have to walk around.
But clearly this is a journalist. They haven't released his identity, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so this is an unknown journalist. Probably better for you, dude. And this game is so incredibly popular. I don't think that we've even begun to see the extent of how it is going to affect culture and how.
I mean, yeah.
Well, we saw immediately.
It's insane.
We reported on it on Pop Trigger.
Yeah, we did.
Immediately after it was released, there was someone who said, I hadn't walked 100 yards before I was in a ditch. People are finding dead bodies as they go search
in Wyoming,
for Pokemon.
In Wyoming rivers.
And continuing to play, and only after they catch the Pokemon are they like, I should probably report this. It's amazing.
I mean, car accidents, there's obviously good and bad, and one of the worst things is that Niantic Labs is kind of questionable as far as their history. Their founder is the founder who also created Keyhole. The company that was one of its earliest investors was In-Q-Tel, CIA's investing branch, for those of you who don't know.
Terrible.
And he's a huge government surveillance buff. He thinks data mining is very important, and he thinks that the government should be surveilling these people. And as you know, Niantic is also partially owned by Google, And if you had logged on originally onto Pokemon Go with your Gmail account, they had access to unprecedented levels of private correspondences, like your emails and even your Google Docs, like your Google Docs.
Yeah, and Oliver Stone has come out and said that he doesn't really know much about the game, but he thinks that this is how, again, like
Great
a government...
segue into our second part of the story.
The second, where it's exactly that. At Comic-Con, when he was doing promotional panel for the release of his Edward Snowden movie, starring Shailene Woodley, friend of the show, and we're both from Simi Valley. Call me. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Zachary Quinto. He said, they're data mining every person in this room for information as to what you're buying, what you like, and above all, your behavior. Pokemon Go kicks into that. But this is everywhere. It's what some people call surveillance capitalism. It's the newest stage. It's not for profit in the beginning, but it becomes for profit in the end. It manipulates your behavior. It has happened already quite a bit on the internet, but you see it everywhere. You'll see it, new form of, frankly, a robot society where they will know how you want to behave and they will make the mock-up that matches how you behave and feed you. It's what they call totalitarianism. Also, friend of the show, Oliver Stone.
Yeah, what's really funny to me is that Zachary Quinto was making a reference to like, oh, there's a lot of Pokemon around here, haha. Like he was trying to make a joke on the panel, and Oliver Stone was like, hold that thought.
No joke, yeah.
No, he goes, no, it's actually, no, fuck that. It's actually not funny. Here's why. And he is right. I mean, the amount of information that they're collecting through this game, they have access to your camera, they have access to seeing you, like they could surveil you nonstop around the clock, know exactly where you are at any time of the day. And a lot of these apps have built-in God modes, which means like at the executive level at least, or some people that are involved with the creation of the app know every single bit of information about you from your phone. Meaning like Uber has this, for example, they know exactly where you are. Anytime you every time you allow location services on apps like this, they know exactly where you are, even when you're not using the app for the most part, and they can track you if need be. And within most of these new terms of services, they put in clauses where they will give this information to police forces or government authorities if need be, if subpoenaed for this information. Yeah. So you're giving away, like if you're gonna go on the lam, don't play Pokemon Go because they will catch you.
Yeah, shut off.
No pun intended.
Yeah, shut off your background, shut off your background data usage, shut off your everything. In fact, take your phone and throw it in a swamp.
Yeah, I mean
throw it in a swamp.
And he's like, with the Internet of Things, even that is going to be irrelevant. But like he's referring for the most part to Google. Like, and these are profit-driven companies, like he said, that start off free. Like Google is free, but they make their money by mining your data and serving you ads that you would want to see. Yeah. Now, I personally appreciate that because I feel like it increases user experience. It puts things that I'd be interested in front of me. I'm not like a big privacy person. Like I understand how the internet works in that way because I like free things, and it'll stay that way as long as they know your behavior in certain ways. Now, what's scary about all this is the precedent of at what level can the government intervene and surveil all of your information and, just like Oliver Stone said, manipulate the realities around you and what they're serving to you to match your expectations, or how they can use it. Because like even Facebook, even the way the Facebook algorithm works, we've seen it. It's feeding into this polarization on the political landscape where you're only seeing things that you agree with, right? Yes. And that has, it's proven, like we know that that has the power to swing an election if need be. So it's just that, I mean, it's an interesting precedent.
Yeah, it's weird because it starts with things that you like.
Yeah.
And then it builds on that. So maybe you did something that kind of identified you with a certain kind of person, but like only in the very fringes of that Venn diagram. And then I always find it weird when I'm served like some real weird conspiracy stuff because I don't believe in any of that, most of that.
Yeah, but you find it interesting, so you look at that sort of stuff. Like I'm the same way.
And that anchors you deeper and deeper into this category of person as far as they're concerned. So it's not necessarily what they're serving you is what you agree with. It's what they're serving you. They just augment that with a bunch of other stuff that might on the periphery.
And before you know it, InfoWars, black helicopters. I was holding that in for the longest
I was
time.
going to say,
black
helicopters
consistently, every time we've talked about Pokemon Go, either with you or with Brett, I have ended the segment just silently feeling overwhelmingly paranoid.